Hi there, Rose here. So if you haven't heard recently, because you've been busy 4K'ing as Kaneki, Behavior announced that the Halloween chapter and its content will no longer be able to be purchased after January 19th of next year, including permanently retiring the Haddonfield realm to no longer be played. The sunsetting of Myers, if you will. This is honestly quite the shock, considering that this was not only the first ever licensed chapter to come out in Dead by Daylight and put DBD on the map, it also solidified the other chapters that would come out in the future. And it's fairly harrowing when we look back on this year and see Behavior's interesting things that they've done, and by the end of it, we're greeted with this, a punch in the gut. And while Behavior themselves haven't stated explicitly why the chapter is leaving the fog, we can all make an extremely good guess. I personally don't have that much affection with Myers, and him leaving isn't really gonna impact me at all. But overall, this is a massive shame, especially since Myers got reworked recently, and he's never really got a chance to get decent cosmetics. But this announcement made me realize something that somehow flew past my mind so easily despite me playing the game constantly. DBD has licenses, a lot of them. Silent Hill, Nightmare on Elm Street, Saw, Resident Evil, the whole 9 yards. Pretty much any popular horror franchise that you can think of, DBD has content in it. As of this video, Dead by Daylight currently has a total of 46 chapters, with 23 being licensed and 23 being originally made. A 50-50 split. Yet, despite this, it seems as though DBD is heavily relying on its licensed content in order to carry its weight, while all the original content that is released or is in current development is being pushed down or just not focused on as much. This becomes more apparent when we see that ever since the release of the Nicolas Cage half chapter, the frequency of licensed content being added to the game has increased a notable amount, and the recent original content in the game in terms of quality has been questionable, to say the least. Now, am I outright saying that licensed content for this game is bad and should never be introduced? No, absolutely not. I think licensed content to some degree is necessary for a live service game like Dead by Daylight in order to keep it going and keep players, both old and new, interested and invested in the game. However, there is one fatal flaw that comes with licensed content that I think a lot of people mistakenly overlook. The fact that it's not permanent, or at least not guaranteed to be permanent, as we can see with the 9 consecutive years that the Halloween chapter has been in the game, only now to be removed, as well as other franchises, such as Stranger Things being gone for 2 whole years, and the Hellraiser chapter being removed back in April. Imagine if one day DBD just had half of its content lost in the game due to licensing issues. Possibly more if you include all the extra licensed skins from the shop. It would absolutely be horrible and would basically kill the game overnight. And while yes, that is an extreme example and not likely to happen anytime soon in DBD's future, this strategy of adding more IPs over the original content of the game is a risky one, and one that is potentially unsustainable if it grows to an insurmountable degree. Well then, Rose, this is clearly a sign that DBD is failing and Behavior is incompetent. All they do is add licensed dash slop into the game and don't care enough about the original content, only adding in half-baked chapters and occasional bug fixes. just so we're enticed to log back in and buy the 25th Sable skin this week. They're so blindsided that they don't even see that all they have to do to fix this issue is simply stop releasing licensed content and make the original content good, right? Well, you see here, little Ace? Yes, but also no. And the reason why I say no is because honestly, the licensed content is just too damn good, man. I mean, think about it. What are the most popular killers right now in DBD? Kaneki, Springtrap, Ghostface. Wesker has remained extremely popular even after his 3-year-old release. Hell, even Demogorgon has gained a resurgence ever since the Stranger Things Part 2 trailer. Not only are they popular, it's no secret that most of them are just very fun to play in general. Kaneki Spider-Manning all around the map, getting sick hits on survivors while also being beginner friendly. Wesker having a very exciting chase-oriented power while also having some of the best memeable lines in the game. Springtrap not only having very solid gameplay, but his design, the lines, the presentation, the personality, many even marking his depiction in-game as better than the source material. For survivors, while it's more varied, who do you commonly see in your lobbies besides Sables? Ada's, Rebecca's, Laura's, Leon's, Cheryl's, the occasional Steve Gold I want to tear the throat out of. When the community voted for their favorite maps to play on, both RPD maps as well as Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria made it into the top 5. Speaking of which, the Five Nights at Freddy's chapter released with the highest concurrent player count the game has ever witnessed. The most viewed trailer that Dead by Daylight has released is the Stranger Things Part 1 chapter with 9 million views, beating out the game's official launch trailer. I don't think it's much of a take to say that some of the licensed content in the game is also some of the best content that we have, and losing it would be absolutely crippling to this game's community. But I also understand where you're coming from, little Ace. For also, yes, I believe there's actually a second flaw when it comes to licenses: the neglect of original content. We can see this as far back as 2020 with the release of the A Binding of Kin chapter with Elodie and the twins. Elodie releasing with some of the most mid perks in the game, but more importantly, the twins being an absolute train wreck of a killer upon release, having an absolute buggy and broken power that still has issues to this day, and with a PTB rework that was so awful that it had to be scrapped, leaving them in this desolate state that they now remain. In the Forged and Fog chapter, we had the release of the Knight, a killer that had a buggy power where his guards basically did nothing half the time and got stuck on walls, as well as the new Shattered Square map, one of the most survivor-sided maps introduced in the game, rivaling that of Eerie of Crows. Pallets everywhere, fillers everywhere, only to be reworked to one of the most killer-sided maps in the game. Then immediately after, we get not only a chapter that was an absolute letdown to what it was hyped to be, the Tools of Torment chapter, but also the most controversial killer released in DBD's history, the Skull Merchant. Baffling visual design, incomprehensible kit, 3-gen chess gameplay, now only to be left in the dust aside from a few mediocre buffs. Absolutely disappointing. Now comes the Doomed Course chapter. I will start by saying this: I absolutely love Tori Kane. She is my favorite female survivor to play as, being so radically different and underrated from the rest of the cast, and the Houndmaster with her awe-inspiring / dominating presence with a very enjoyable gameplay style. But Tori being released with 3 absolutely abysmal perks that nobody ever uses outside of her Adept, the Houndmaster also having a buggy and inconsistent power with add-ons that don't even work properly, the both of them having absolute scraps when it comes to cosmetics, with them barely getting anything after the release, this chapter having practically no marketing and set up for players to really engage with. Is this how Behavior is treating their original chapters now? Heck, even with Sinister Grace, anything good that came out with that chapter was just completely overshadowed by them trying to release huge changes that affect the overall balance and flow of the game, alongside an incredibly strong S-tier killer that now, with nerfs, nobody plays. Overall, the original chapters that have come out within the past few years have been shaky, to say anything about them. And even the relatively decent or good ones that have come out have honestly been overshadowed by their licensed counterparts in terms of presence and standing. Hell, even some licensed killers got big changes when some original killers desperately needed it more, such as Pyramid Head's add-on changes and the full-on Myers rework recently. It just feels like Behavior doesn't put as much effort into other aspects of the game as they do with licensed content. And with that type of content, it will eventually all be lost to the void sooner or later, whether it's Behavior unable to sustain it anymore, or license holders tapping out. And in the end, what will be left? So, what is the answer here? Is there even an answer to be had? Should Behavior stop dealing with licenses altogether, or go all in with them? Or keep the 2 types of content that we have at a relatively even level? Well, it's a mixed bag, no matter how you look at it. But if I were to offer one answer, it would probably be this. All content in the game, I believe, has merit, and that itself warrants appreciation for its existence. All the bad killers that I stated so far in this video, in the right hands, they can still be very enjoyable and each have fascinating things about them. We often all see the same survivors in every match, as well as the same perks, but the fact that we have so many means we also have variety, the spice of life for this game. And despite me talking about how good licensed content has been in DBD, Behavior definitely has made blunders with them before, yet some have grown more appreciated over time. At the end of the day, DBD wouldn't be where it is without both its types of content, original and licensed, and it deserves to be played and appreciated for what it is. So, go out there and experience it. If you never played the Cannibal before, do so. You might just find your new favorite killer around the corner. Go out and try to get that Nicolas Cage or Jonah Vasquez Adept, still waiting to be unlocked in your Steam achievements. Go on Wesker and try a new goofy build that you never played before. There are so many things to be enjoyed while playing this game, and I think there is no better time to make the most of it than now. Don't let the fear of content being removed or the fear of things not living up to expectations dictate how you enjoy this game. Play and enjoy this game and all of its variety, uniqueness, everything good, bad, and in between. Enjoy what it has in the here and now. But that's enough yappers out of me. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way through. If you enjoyed what I had to say, give it a like, and please comment down below your whole thoughts on licensed content and just content in general. in the game thus far and how you feel about it. But yeah, with that being said, I will see you all in the fog.